Hi grade 12s, welcome back to a video that will be looking at question 8.5, still looking at financial mathematics exercise. Okay, so 8.5 reads, Mr. Masango invested 6.5 in a savings account that paid interest at the rate of 13% per annum compounded monthly, and this was done for the first 2 years. Thereafter, the interest rate changed to 10.5 per annum compounded quarterly. 3 years after making the initial deposit, Mr. Masango withdrew RX from the account. At the end of 5 years, he had 928.30 more in the account than the initial deposit. Calculate the value of X to the nearest rand. All right. So if you want to see the solution speaking to 8.1 up to 8.4, there are previous videos that I've covered that. In this video, we are just now looking at 8.5. And on the previous video, I also covered a bit of brief revision on some of the financial mathematics formulas that we will be using both in grade 11 as well as in grade 12. Grade 12 mathematics is just a build up on grade 11 knowledge, and these questions will be assessed or asked in your final examination as well as your preparatory examination. Okay, so let's go back to 8.5. From reading 8.5 at first inception, I can tell that 8.5 is a timeline question. And what do I mean by that? I mean that it is a question that you will need to solve by having drawn a timeline. I'm just going to remove this 8.1 solution here because it is present on the previous video so that we are able to draw the timeline just next to the question 8.5 and we're able to see the timeline relating to that. Right. Okay, cool. A timeline makes it easy for us to see where changes happens, where more deposits or even withdrawals happen. Okay, so this is how we usually show our timeline. Looks like more like a number line. Time 0 is the beginning of your investment, and the last time, or we call it time n, will be at the end of your investment, right? Okay, cool. So Mr. Masango invested 6.5 in a savings account that paid the interest rate of 13% per annum compounded monthly for the first 2 years. Okay, so Mr. Masango invested the 6.5 at the beginning of his investment, and then the 6.5 was growing at an interest rate of 13% per annum, but it's compounded monthly, so M is 12 here for those first 2 years. Thereafter, the interest rate changed to 10.5 compounded quarterly. Okay, 3 years after making the initial deposit, so 3 years from time 0, it is the time after making initial deposit, Mr. Masango withdrew RX. So essentially, Mr. Masango withdrew at time 3 because that is 3 years after the initial deposit. That's when Mr. Masango withdrew X, right? And a withdrawal, we show it with a subtraction or a negative sign. So Mr. Masango withdrew RX from the account. At the end of 5 years, so this investment would take place for 5 years, so that is TN. Our N there is 5. At the end of 5 years, he had 928, so 928.30 cents more in the account than the initial deposit. In other words, your accumulated amount at the end of 5 years, accumulated amount will then be equals to 6,500 plus 928.30 because he had 928 more. 6.5 plus 928.30 will then give you 7,428.30 as what Mr. Masango would have at the end of his investment. Calculate the value of X to the nearest rand. Okay, cool. So the first part of this video, I want us to just understand how we drew the timeline. This investment takes place in 5 years, right? It is an investment for a duration of a period of 5 years. At the beginning of the investment, Mr. Masango had 6.5, and this 6.5 grew by 13% per annum for the first 2 years. After the first 2 years, the interest rate changed, meaning that now the interest rate from the end of year 2 until the end of the investment changed to 10.5% per annum, and it's compounded quarterly. So your M here is equals to a 4, right? And then 3 years after making the initial deposit, Mr. Masango had to withdraw X, which is what we want. And then the X there is shown by a negative X. With this information given, we now need to calculate what X is. We are also told that at the end of 5 years, the newly accumulated amount was then 6.5 plus the 9.2830 cents. On the next video, I will be showing you how to then find X. Catch you on the next one.